Hi and welcome to Add More Zest, and my name's Rebecca, also known as 4Kids at 147, and I thought I would do a little PaintGem mini for today's WIP and Waffle. It's a little bit different. So I recently kitted up, or you'll have seen the video for me kitting up my Ocean Edition mini set, and I did choose to opt in for some ABs. So I've got a few different packets of ABs that I've selected to go with this, and I like to do the ABs first if I'm going to put ABs on any of them. I don't put them on all, but I do like to do them first. I have I have completed 2 of these. So I didn't put any ABs on this one. I didn't feel like it needed any, but I did put some on the jellyfish because I thought the extra sparkle would be nice on that one. I am going to put a little bit on this crab. It's the next one. I don't pick and choose which one I'm going to work on. I just get the one off the top. And I grabbed a washi tape to be able to stick it to my easel. And it happens to be one that has ocean animals as well as planets on it as well. So I thought that was quite apt. So I'm going to work on this one today, see how many comments, questions, etc. I can get through. It is launch weekend, so we will see how long this one takes me. Might not be as long as some, but we have a lot of orders to pack this weekend. So I'm using AB 208, but I'm actually placing it instead of 3837. They're very, very similar in colour. There's not much difference between the two. There is a little bit. But ABs give like the diamonds a different coating look anyway. So even if I used AB in 3837, it would have a different look to the standard 3837. So for the purposes of this one, as I say, they're slightly different, but I like to place my ABs first because I like to use a wax pen for placing my ABs, and you can't go too hard with wax pens because they are softer, and if you start pushing them down you'll get an even stubbier stub than what I've got now. These come with quite a pointy stub, but by the time I've used it for a bit, it does end up going quite a bit shorter. So I like to place my ABs first, because then if I need to do any nudging, so if any diamonds are not quite in the right place, I can do it with my pen with the diamonds that go near it or next to it, and do it with that afterwards, and I can use them to nudge. So I'm just going to do the purple in the AB because I think it looks kind of cute, just to have a little bit of sparkle in the coral. And then the rest I'm just going to use normal diamonds with, because I do think ABs are often best quite subtle. You can get away with white being quite a bit bigger, but not as much with some of the darker colours. I feel like they don't go into an AB quite in the same way as white does. White is a very good AB to have in your stash. So yeah, I thought I'd work on this. I do still have my Dreamers designs to finish, but I figured that's been the WIP and Waffle for quite a few weeks. It will probably be back next week. I haven't had much chance to diamond paint in an evening this last week, and while I'm hoping to correct that next week, I don't think I'll quite be diamond painting enough, or my decision wheel will pick my Dreamers designs enough to get it to the point of finish. So I reckon it might be back. Whether it will be any closer than when you last saw it, time will tell. But that's the ABs done. So I'll keep the pen in my little tub and let's go on to normal. So I have popped a metal tip into this month's limited edition pen. I've got the orange zesty tray, but then I've got the trashy tray in blue if I do need it. And I'm going to do them in order, work my way up the picture. And I have a few questions and comments from the WIP and Waffle week before last. And I'll probably end up with some from this last week's one left over as well. So I might have to do a bit more of a catch up WIP and Waffle when I have a little bit more time. Hopefully next weekend I'll have a little bit more time to do a longer WIP and Waffle. But we like to get launch orders out as quick as we can. So I'd like to get them done, or get as many done as I can this weekend, and then finish up on Monday. But Bev says, hi everyone. She says she compromised. She is going to be doing the advent calendar painting that she got from us before Christmas, so she can put it up with the rest of her decorations. And then she is going to have the Zesty Wolf for Christmas. She said she can't wait for this year's painting and to join in the December event. She's looking forward to the Advent calendar too. She says, hope everyone has a lovely week. Oh, thank you, Bev. Well, I am going to be doing a video on the Advent calendar once I finish this one, which is going to go up tomorrow. So it will go up on Monday evening. It is not going to spoil the surprise for anybody. It is just going to showcase what you will get when your advent calendar ships. We are very nearly halfway on packing all the advent, and this is the total number of advent. So we're more than halfway packed on the pre-orders, but we are nearly halfway packed on the total amount of advent calendars that we've done. We do expect to have more than what's needed, but we shall see, because you guys surprise us. Even the orders that came in from launch last night have surprised us. We do still have, as I'm filming this, we do still have limited edition trays available. However, the amount of you guys that want the mega tray is unbelievable. The printers are currently going in the background. I've got hubby and Megan on printer watch, so as soon as they've finished they will be printing again, so we can get as many orders out as possible, even those with mega trays. Got quite a few printed in this last week, but not quite enough the numbers that you guys want, so we're beavering away all the time to get those done. We've also started releasing some of the sneak peeks on social media, so on Facebook and Instagram. There will be a reveal video here as normal, but if you do like sneak peeks of things, we do have sneak peeks that are starting to go up on social media. We have planned to sort of release things bit by bit and to let you guys know prior to launch a few different things before launch day. But yeah, so I'm primarily working on packing advents, and getting them ready so we can start shipping them last week in August, first week in September. And Megan is working away on getting September's things ready, and getting sneak peeks up. So we are tag teaming while it is the summer holidays. And yeah, we're rather excited. We're busy, but we're rather excited because it's close to being able to tell you. Anna, she says she loves bacon all by itself. She says she's curious though how many slices are in a rasher. A rasher is one slice. A rasher of bacon is a slice of bacon. They're sort of the same thing. We just call them a rasher. She said Cher's not the only one that loves orange. She said she has been waiting patiently for the orange zesty trays. So she hopes that that's what they are. Well, I hope you are happy, Anna. It is the orange zesty tray that was released on Friday. As I'm filming this, we do still have some left. We actually got quite a lot printed. They did extremely well. Like, you know, no mess ups and things like that. So we got a really good number of zesty trays in orange. So hopefully everybody will be able to get, everybody that wants one will be able to get one. Crafty JJ Newton, she says thank you for sharing. She says she's enjoyed listening while she diamond paints along. She says have a blessed week. You too yourself. I hope you had an amazing week. We've had a productive week. It's been a good week though. Good but productive, and I'm hoping for a productive weekend as well, and we can start off Monday on a good note. Is always good. Kim says she's just started diamond painting. She hasn't yet tried multi-placing. She is okay with a single placer and she is enjoying the craft. Well, welcome to the hobby. It is addictive, so do watch out. She says as much money as she has spent on the project, she is happy with single placing and stretching out the project to get her money's worth. Yeah, and it definitely is. It's the process that's enjoyable. Yes, there is a little bit more excitement at starting something new and a little bit more excitement at finishing something, but it is also about the process. I've just spotted there is an air bubble in that one, and I didn't think it was that obvious when I first put it down, but it's just caught my eye. I need to get a straightener on that line as well. Just change that out before I change the colours over. But yeah, especially when you start diamond painting, the whole process, just let it flow, let it be what it is. And as you say, you'll get your money's worth single placing. Jennifer says the painting is looking good. Thank you, Jennifer. She said she's just started multi-placing and she started diamond painting a few weeks ago. Awesome. You will probably get hold of it, get the hang of it a lot quicker than I did. Because you've started it earlier on, you've not got, in effect, set in your ways diamond painting with a single placer and being used to it. There are still some paintings that you may find that single placing is a little bit easier than multi-placing. You may become a multi-placing master, and single placing may be partly, you know, a thing of the past or something that frustrates you because it goes a lot slower. But there are definitely still times when I'm just like, nah, I am not in the mood for multi-placing whatsoever, and I single place my life away. Right, we have some beautiful coral. Beautiful coral. I like that AB in that coral. That looks pretty. Blossom Chops. She says, is that new tray colour, is it colour 824 or 826 by any chance? Let's have a look at DMC 824. According to the Cotton A24, no, that's a bit too blue. A26, maybe closer, but it's got a little bit of a hint more green in it. When I've just Google searched the thread colours, it's not quite those Blossom Chops, but it is a very, very nice bluey, tealy, greeny colour. It's the only sneak I'm allowed to give for September. Megan will be doing the rest. She'll be doing the rest on social media. Once she's done them, then I might be able to sneak some of the newer colours into the videos and see how that goes. But yeah, we've got the forgotten little August launch. Well, I say forgotten, you guys haven't forgotten it. But it's sometimes we've planned August and had August set up quite a while ago because we knew September would take so much of our time. So it's slightly become our little forgotten launch when it's not really forgotten. It is, yeah. It's a fun launch. I absolutely adore this pen though. I adore the two-tone pen, and that's why I like using both a different colour trashy and a different colour tray with it, because they just match so nicely. It's a gorgeous little mix. Lady Dax says she's been watching this video on a Monday. She said P Jelly is out and she is working on the 192 colour painting from Diamond Art Studio, Walking in the Rain. She says she thinks it's going to be a long project. Yes, when I start one of them, I'm planning on it being a long project and having some other ones sort of running in between. And that one will just be a bit like my Heaven and Earth design was, a bit of a longer to finish. She says she's been using a 4-placer on some smaller diamond paintings, or at least she's been trying to. She says she very much thinks it is down to the drill and canvas quality as to her success using it, which I agree, especially with squares. More so with squares, I find it can very much depend on the drill and like the canvas sizing and the spaces between diamonds. I've had some even from the same company that will have more gapping on some paintings than it will on others. And I've been able to single place on some, only single place on some, but I've been able to multi-place on others. It can be a little bit more hit and miss, I do find. So yeah, I tend to find my rhythm for it and whether I can get away with it. And if I don't like the finish of it, then I just go back to single placing. And I suppose because I'm quite new to multi-placing, not new to the concept, like I know the concept, but new to actually thinking about doing it myself, actually putting it into practice is quite new to me. And because of that, I think I don't mind when I end up having to single place instead. Whereas somebody that's used to multi-placing, I can imagine it's a bit more frustrating for them when they get a painting that they can't quite multi-place on, because it's taking away something that they're used to doing on every painting. Just like to give my little legs and stuff a little nudge to make sure my crab can walk properly. Lady Dax also says, she says, you say that I say that she's dangerous when it comes to her chair. Yes, I'm very tempted by that chair, but at the moment we've moved half our dining table chairs out the way for Advent, so I don't even want to think about replacing them at the moment. I'm so tempted though. She says a bacon butty with HP sauce when she is supposed to be off meat products is just too mean. Oh, I'm sorry. That is an item that I can imagine if you are not supposed to be eating meat for whatever reason, and you normally do, rather than it being a choice that you've made, I suppose. Yeah, that was a bit mean. I am sorry, because it is an amazing product. She says, but if she's be good for the rest of the week, she might be able to sneak one in. Or, well, at least there is some leeway with that. If you're good, it can be your little treat instead. And what a good treat it will be. It's a very good cheat treat type sandwich to have. Just don't forget that HP sauce. Make sure you have that HP sauce in, because it makes a difference. Grey Legrand, she says, in relation to multi-placing round versus squares, she says here is her 2 cents. She says she finds she has to do more nudging with rounds compared to with squares. She says she believes that because with rounds, when you shake and tip your tray to line them up, they have more inconsistencies than squares, which is very much true. I do find that in my Dreamers designs. My rounds do tend to be, on quite a few of them, not on all of them, do tend to be slight different shapes, whereas my squares tend to be more uniform in size. I don't know if it's something to do with the manufacturing process or what. I suppose even when, like, you make, if you think when you make cookies or biscuits and you put them into small little round balls, and you think you've got them all the right size, and then you put them in the oven and they melt and you get a load of cookies that come out all different sizes. I expect it's something like that when it comes to doing it, and that, you know, you can whatever machine does it can end up with slight inconsistencies. And that definitely can affect it when you're multi-placing, because you're using the ridges on your tray to get them to line up and be next to each other. So with the squares, they tend to be quite uniform, but with the rounds, they're not. So I agree with that. She says, so that means that when you move them off the tray with the different spacing, it doesn't mean that it goes uniformly onto the canvas. She said, so she does try to limit the number of rounds that she picks up when she does multi-placing. She finds by picking up less, she doesn't have to mess quite as much. She says with squares, they do all have to fit on the canvas touching. And if she has to nudge squares, it's normally because she didn't get them in a straight line when she picked them up. But she doesn't have issues. And that's where I think, you know, sometimes between companies or even a particular diamond painting, it can be different from the same company. If the diamonds don't sort of slot in right next to each other, then multi-placing could be hard. I think I could get away with multi-placing on PaintGem. They do often very snugly fit together, these diamonds. Quite often the reason I don't is because even when I do multi-place, I often like to single place around the edges. Get my nice straight nudge as I go along baseline on the edges. And with PaintGem minis, because they are partials, there's a lot of edges. So by the time I've done all the edges and got all the edges straight, it's not always then worth pulling the multi-placer out to do the middles of everything. I may as well just single place the whole lot. But I could get away with it. I think I've had one set that I remember off the top of my head that had a lot more spacing on the PaintGem. And that's why I think it can vary from company to company. I've had other companies that have found the same. Some of their squares are all really quite tight and snug and I can multi-place, and others they're not. And yeah, I don't know whether it's just the manufacturing process or whether just something has happened when the printer's printed out the canvas and it's actually done it ever so slightly bigger than it should have done. I'm not sure which way around it is. But yeah, that's what makes me picky over my square multi-placing, that's for sure. But yeah, that does make sense, Grey Legrand. SW, she said she had to chuckle when I said that it felt weird to kit up a painting off camera. She said because it doesn't seem that long ago when you said that it felt weird to kit up on camera. That's true, because I never used to kit up on camera. I used to do different videos on camera, but I'd occasionally do a kitting up, but not very often. Whereas now, it seems as though if I've not put the video up of me kitting something up, then it's like I've not actually done it. Because I was going to do a PaintGem mini for the WIP and Waffle last week, but I hadn't yet kitted up, or the video hadn't yet got up of me kitting these PaintGem minis up. The only video that had gone up was me doing the mystery set, which doesn't seem right to do a mystery set in the WIP and Waffle when it's supposed to be a mystery. Didn't seem fair to me. So yeah, it's definitely very, very weird. She said her mum used to make pancake bacon sandwiches for breakfast. Ooh. Which is 2 mini pancakes with a slice of cheese, 2 slices of bacon and a little bit of maple syrup in the middle. Oh, I don't know if I could do bacon and maple syrup. I know some people do, but it's never something I've been inclined to try. I love pancakes with maple syrup on them. I love pancakes with lemon and sugar on them. I've yet to have a savoury pancake. For some reason, it just doesn't seem right to me to have a savoury pancake. To me, they're a sweet. You know, you can have them for breakfast. McDonald's have probably seen to that. But yeah, to me, they're not a savoury item, they're a sweet item. But I guess that is just something that I've got in my head and it won't shift. Susan says, hi Rebecca. She says, thank you for another fun WIP and Waffle. She says, kitting up while not on camera, in big capital letters. She said, that must have felt weird. She said, did you talk to us anyway? I definitely talked to somebody else in the room while I was doing it. I think if I'd have been in an empty room, then yeah, I probably would have chatted away and then gone, oops, don't need to. And probably had to stop myself. She says she doesn't think that I said what I was kitting up. She says, but could it have possibly been the Christmas canvas? Maybe. I will still be doing the Christmas canvas in December, and normally that is the first time I do it. However, this year's is a little bit different for reasons that will become obvious. I did need an example. And yes, I ended up having to do one. But I figure it's going to be a good few months before I'm doing it again. And I'll be doing it rather differently with you guys, and I'll be doing a section a day. And I haven't had to do it like 5 or 6 times like I have done for comparison videos of the same image and things like that. So it's not been too bad. She says she's been meaning to ask, how is the mystery painting coming along? So I'm doing a mystery painting from Diamond Art Club. I'm still on the second row of that one because of needing to do these examples for September launch. I haven't spun my decision wheel to choose what painting to do for 2 to 3 weeks. I've also it hasn't taken me that long to get the example paintings done, but I have had some very, very long days recently packing Advent, because I forget how tiring it can be. And we're doing about 25 a day. And it takes a lot out of you, and quite often I've not, depending on how many orders have come in and how much other shop things I've needed to do, sometimes I haven't been stopping till about 7, and then by the time I've sort of wound down a little bit, or you know, stopped work and I suppose switched off from it a bit, it ends up being a bit later. And by the time it then gets a bit later, I'm like, oh, it's not worth getting any diamond painting out. So I have had quite a few evenings that I haven't diamond painted at all, but I'm hoping this next week will be a little bit easier and I'll be able to get a bit more done. But yeah, I'm basically still on row 2. Haven't touched it for about 3 weeks. She says she has loved doing hers, and she hopes that I've had a good week of Advent assembly. Yes, we have. We do feel like we are, because we've now got more than half of the pre-orders packed. We do feel like we are getting there. We'd rather be ahead to make sure that shipment starts in September than behind in any way. So yeah, we are hoping to start shipping sort of last week of August, first week of September. But if you want to see what it'll look like when it arrives to you, I'm doing a video for it that will go up tomorrow. But there'll be no spoilers in there. I'm not opening any bags on video, etc., because I don't want to spoil it for anybody that's, of course, got one coming on its way. I will show you how to open the box though, so that it's really nice. I know that sounds daft, but when you're not the one taping up a box before it gets shipped to you, sometimes you're like, how can I open this and keep everything in its box? I will show you that as well. Though we do recommend that you just pack it away without opening the box to stop the temptation. Janet, she says, thank you for another great WIP and Waffle, Rebecca. Thank you for being here. She says, you're doing an amazing job with multi-placing and with a 4-placer as well. She says she's only just got up to using a 3-placer. I switched to a 4-placer because somebody said that it can often be easier than a 3-placer. And I found it's been really nice using a 4-placer. It's a nice little happy middle ground. She says she's eagerly awaiting a sneak peek of this year's Advent painting. She says she will definitely be ordering it. She says she's back diamond painting after a few months break and she is loving it. She said she's adopted my idea of putting up my kitted up diamond paintings in the decision wheel and having great fun seeing which painting she'll be working on each evening. She says thanks again for all that you do for us. Do you know what? I love that too. I absolutely love hitting the decision wheel to see which painting I'm going to be doing that night. And I don't know if anybody else does this, but I do. I have to set up my table and my easel and have my little rolling IKEA cart with my little, storage pouch with my pens and stuff in and basically all my tools and bits. I have to have my easel on my table propped up and have my cart next to where I sit before I can press that button on that decision wheel for it to then tell me which one I'm doing. I just cannot press that button before I have set up the stuff. I don't know if that sounds weird to anybody else, but I seem to have got it in my head that I can't actually spin the wheel until I am ready to diamond paint, which means I'm definitely going to diamond paint and nothing's going to stop me. It's like that's my, yes, I'm diamond painting no matter what. So now I can spin my wheel. Because if anything stopped me from diamond painting, I would feel cheated that I knew what, because I'd spun the decision wheel, I'd know what painting I'm doing the next day. I'd feel like that's cheating. But I also feel like I wouldn't be giving a painting its fair chance of being done if I just spun the decision wheel again tomorrow instead and sort of ignored that one. Does anybody else get weird thoughts like that, or is it just me? Maybe it's just me. Anyway, I am going to leave it there. I know this is a lot shorter WIP and Waffle than normal. I actually haven't got through all the questions from last week either. But I am very conscious. I do really, really want to get orders out to everybody. So I'm going to leave it as one little crab done. And hopefully I will be able to I'll probably pull out my Dreamers designs next week and do a longer session and actually go through all of the comments that are left from the last few weeks. So apologies, this is a short one. It is very, very stuffy today as well where I am. So I'm absolutely sweating in this craft room at the minute, and it's been nowhere near as long as I normally am. But say there is some exciting videos coming up this week, and hopefully I can get a nice longer WIP and Waffle in for next week. But thank you all so much for joining me, and I'll speak to you all again soon.